Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is beginning of the month for April tarot oracle reading, and Cancer, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Cancer, then we all do have that sign within us somewhere. If you do have your birth chart, which house is it in? That will be where this energy shows up for you. Also, this is a timely reading, meaning that if you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it's been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then, that may give you further clarity as to your situation now. So we're going to begin with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck, and we have Death. All right, this is actually about transition. So this card is talking about one cycle ending and a new one beginning. It very rarely ever means actual physical death. It's more about transition. So this is talking about the Grim Reapers coming through town. The Grim Reaper is just a symbol for birth and rebirth. And this is talking about in many cultures, it's not meant to be like an evil symbol at all. It's just representing life, basically. And he has his flag, and the flag actually represents the light at the end of the tunnel. And then we have the older person here is saying, we don't want your change. Can we barter with you? But the younger ones, one of them is actually handing the Grim Reaper a flower and saying, yes, we want some new stuff happening here. And so the king has been trampled, but that doesn't mean it's an actual king. It's talking about, it's a symbol, it's symbolic for systems being crumbling, maybe things that you never thought would change in your life, all of a sudden changing. For instance, you might have always had a certain hobby that you absolutely love doing, and you could never see yourself not love doing it. And one day you wake up and you're just like, you know what, I'm done with that. I'm going to do something else instead. And it surprises you. We have the moon. So the moon is talking about illusions and hidden secrets coming out. And the moon is talking the lobster here is climbing out of the emotional waters, and his goal is to stay on this path in between these two pillars. But there's this domestic dog and wolf, and they're both howling at the moon, and somehow to stay on his path he has to be vulnerable and go past them. This also has the sun, the full moon, and the new moon represented here. So it's eclipses, full moons, new moon, and this energy is talking about your intuition is really strong when there's a full moon or a new moon, and to use your intuition at those times to get to the bottom of shift that you're trying to get to the bottom of. And so we have, for the overlying energy for the reading, it is transition. So there's some sort of change going on, which everybody's getting this card, by the way. Cancer, it's not just you. And then you are ruled by the moon. So this is you showing up basically in your own reading, which is really good. It means that it'll have some solid information for you when you're already showing up. This card actually represents the underlying energy of the internal forces, the what ifs. So, the internal forces are when you'll know it's an internal force coming from inside of you when you're asking questions like, what if I do this and they do that? Or what if they do that and then I have to do this? That kind of energy. So let's see. Internal forces. Okay, so you have found some information out. So maybe the new moon or the full moon. We do have a full moon coming up, and you may be feeling that energy right now. The full moon is in the sign of Libra, and it has been highlighting relationships with your significant other. And also it could be partnerships like in business with significant people, or even family members that are significant to you. But generally, the energy is like Libra is a very mature sign, ready for making commitments such as marriage and, starting a family and that kind of energy. It's a level of maturity that can handle that type of commitment. And about compromise. Now, across the wheel from the Libra energy is Aries. And Aries, the sun is in Aries. So Aries is shining the light on anything that is not on the up and up in Libra, basically, and bringing it to the surface. And the Aries energy is more about self-assertion. So the Aries energy doesn't really want to compromise. And so there's this energy of back and forth. This is a really, really good time for enhancing relationships that you already have, and putting it out there that you would like to have. If you don't have that all-important relationship, then you can put it out there. At this time is a great time. It's also a really, really good time for having epiphanies about what's going on in your life. And also, if it's something you've been putting off, why are you putting it off when you know it needs to be done? It's that kind of energy, and also putting strategies in place to be able to move forward. So maybe you found out some information and you know what you know, and you're standing on that, and you have conviction beyond a doubt that the wands in the tarot represent the element of fire, and they represent action. And so this individual is standing at the top of the hill, and he's willing to fight for what he knows, that kind of energy. And he's willing to stand on it. Like he has conviction beyond a doubt that this information is correct, or that this is the direction he wants to go in his life. And you notice he's got a boot on one foot and a shoe on the other. And so this is kind of talking about straddling between two worlds. Maybe you just found this information out. It also could just represent that, like, there's all these other ones here, and those are the actions from other that he is protecting himself from. And so it could just be that energy that you had to rush out to protect yourself and didn't watch what shoes to put on. And then we have the High Priestess energy coming in. And so the High Priestess is sitting between these two pillars. She sits on the right side of the throne of God, and she is very joyful because she uses her intuition, and she's highly intuitive. And of course, she uses it with the cycles of the moon, as suggested here. So again, this is saying that one of your greatest, the Cancer energy is, Cancer has the ability to feel like no other. And it's a very sensitive sign, but that sensitivity, sometimes people may have told you, oh, you're too sensitive. And that's not an uncommon thing for people to say to the Cancer, in the horoscope. But you can use that feeling and that sensitivity to really dig deep into your intuitive nature, and really use it to really bring about events that you want to happen in your life, and to bring clarity to situations where you're not 100% sure. So the High Priestess is exactly that energy. And then we have this is the official marriage card, or at least commitment in partnership, and sometimes marriage. This can represent, the Four of Wands represents the beginning of that fulfillment, like where you've entered this portal of fulfillment, and now the energy basically is you have the down payment for the castle, but you still have to make the mortgage payments. And you maybe popped the question, or the question was popped to you, and the answer was yes, and now you're planning the wedding, and then you're going to have to pour some energy into the actual relationship in the marriage, so that it becomes more and more fulfilling every day. That if you don't put your energy into it, it's going to not have the same passion that it once had. And then we have the Chariot energy. So the Chariot is representing the energy of being on your divine path. And this is like a tank, like taking you where you need to go. There's no reins, no need, because this is following your destined path, and it knows where you need to go. And it's you're just hanging on for the ride, basically, making sure that you do your best to get on that chariot and stay on it. And it's like a tank, tunk, 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 tunk. It's going to take you where you need to go to stay on your path. We have the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords is representing the energy of someone who's been there, done that, has the t-shirt. She is got her left hand out, so she's willing to receive. Having said that, she also has in her right hand, she has her sword, and she's ready to wield it if she need be. This is talking, like, as I said, she's been there, done that, and has the t-shirt. She has the souvenir. She has no desire to repeat any bullshit that she's already gone through in her life. Her head is above the clouds, so she has clarity now, and this could be representing your energy. Her discernment is 100% greater than it used to be. And, that you quite often will come from hardship, where you have to learn through sometimes hard knocks, basically, in life. Who you should invest your time and energy in, and what you should invest in, and what do you expect in return, that kind of energy. So this is someone who has had negative experiences in that way, but has chosen to learn from it. So she can sometimes appear to be cold, but she is the most likely to be divorced or separated out of all the queens. But she wasn't always that way, and she's not going to stay this way forever either. She's just being very discerning right now. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles is representing the energy of, like, the pentacles are all about your health, wealth, and happiness in the third dimensional world. And the Nine of Pentacles, there's only 10 pentacles in the tarot, so this is a lot of coins here. And so the pentacles do represent money and the coin, because that's a big part of our third dimensional world. But you could have all the money in the world and still not be living the lifestyle you want. So this is more about your lifestyle. And are you living the lifestyle you want? This figure is almost at Empress energy, because she's at pre-Empress energy, because she has learned so much discernment from something that's happened here, that, she's standing on her convictions. She knows what she knows, and she stands by it now. And so she listens to her own advice, basically. And this is also regarding your environment. Like, this is saying, you need to make sure your environment supports your, your goals. If you have a really cluttered environment, it clutters your mind and makes it more challenging to think clearly. You'll notice that if you clean up your home and put things away, you feel way better when you sit down, and you can think straighter. And so this also, this card reminds me of Nikola Tesla, because we have he always said, he's a famous inventor, genius, and he always said that if you knew the beauty of the 369, then you would have the key to the universe. And I feel he's referring to is this ratio. Like, there's 9 pentacles here. She's got her hand on 6 of them, because she understands that that's what she needs to run her house, to run her businesses, to have in place for, groceries and all of that, and a little extra in case something breaks down. Then over here, she has 3 pentacles, and perhaps one is for making more risky investments, another for charity, and maybe this one's for saving up for a vacation for the family. But she always has that 369 energy, so that she is in a good place to continue supporting herself and being able to be there for others if the time comes where she's needed. So this energy is talking about, this is how you identify yourself right now. You know what you know, and you're going to stand for it. You're going to fight for what is yours. And this is your abundance and self-worth. You understand that your intuition is a great asset for you. You probably have noticed this because, as I said, you're ruled by the moon. So when the moon comes around, it has a very strong effect on you. More so than maybe on other people. And this is communication in early life. So I just feel like if this card is showing up, it usually represents a pretty happy marriage, and perhaps your family, your parents were happily married, and you had a happy childhood. There's your emotional foundation. So on some level, you have like you're a spiritual or religious person, and you want to stay on your destined path. Like you want to do what's good in life, and be the best version of yourself. That's what you're striving for. And then we have the creativity, romance, and children here. So this is talking about, could be some cutoff here you know, when people have their guard up like this, the creativity doesn't flow quite as easily as it normally would. And it looks like in romance, you're not very open to it. Opening up though, and that one little bird in the background there on this card represents being an individual and really being someone that can stand up for yourself and do for yourself. Like, you don't need another person in your life, but you maybe would like to have someone in your life. And this is also about your health and your daily routines and habits. As I just said, you know, making sure your environment supports you is a huge part of success. So that's the energy we have for there. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. So the Pentacles represent the element of Earth. And again, the Pentacles are about your lifestyle. And the Queen of Pentacles is known to be very, very resourceful. She's someone that can make something out of nothing. And she prefers quality over quantity. So this is like an old money kind of energy, not flashy, not like, you know, showing off and having designer this and that. She is quite content to, she understands the value of $1 and probably has been raised with some money and taught how to deal with money. So this energy is talking about generational wealth and a legacy that you could leave your children and your grandchildren. It's like real money, kind of. So it's like you do have that, and we do have you here with the Nine of Pentacles. So if anything, I would say that, again, this is how the readings have been going, as I said, with this energy of the Libra full moon, being really focused on your significant other and improving that relationship. A lot of the readings have come up about relationships with your significant other. And then, okay, so this is talking about someone who feels like burdened down. And that could be the energy why you're feeling that you have to fight for something here. This is talking about someone who has, like the wands represent the seeds that you've planted, and they've grown into these wands. And this is the harvest that you bring in from your actions, inactions. And sometimes this can also be the actions of others. So this person, this is a heavy load, and they're doing their best to get it to their home here. And they look exhausted and almost like they're going to stop, you know, like they can't take another step almost. But this energy is saying, keep going, because look how close he is to home. He just can't see it. And it's because he's, you know, his head is in the, up close to the wands here. And this energy sometimes is, if you've heard the saying, can't see the forest due to the trees, it's when you are so focused on the details of life that you forget the big picture. So you need to get more back into this energy a bit, where you can see the big picture instead of just the details. And this quite often can represent an energy, like some of these wands might actually be laden with the fruit of your labor. So you want to be able to sort through them, and, you know, but the trick is here, is if there's any wands that you're carrying here that are not your burdens and they're someone else's, just put them down in the field, give them a call and tell them to come pick them up. It's that kind of energy. This can also represent just changes in your life. Like perhaps you purchased a house, like say 5 years ago, and it was perfect and you got it for a good price, and it's, you know, a beautiful house and you've enjoyed living in it. But now you want to move, and your circumstances have changed and you want to move somewhere else or whatever. And now it is still an asset, but now if you want to sell it, you're going to have to fix it up and, you know, get it ready. And perhaps the market's gone soft. And so it's like, you know, having to put all that extra effort into it. So it feels like a burden, but it still is an asset. So there can be that kind of energy too. And this is going in the position of commitments, marriage, and partnerships. So I feel like this is saying that if you've been in a relationship, you have been the one who's been carrying most of the weight of that relationship, whether that be with your significant other or perhaps in a business relationship. We don't have any cups of love here, so this could be more about business and circumstances that are happening in your life right now. We have the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth coming in for the external forces. So this is representing the external forces here. There's some truth coming in And it could be an external force that delivers it, or it could be usually the external force, especially with this energy possibly of carrying the burdens of someone, could represent your significant other, that you feel that you are the one who is carrying the burden, and it's been heavier and heavier lately, and this is talking about the truth is going to come out. This is God's gift to you and the universe's gift to you for staying on your destined path, and that you're going to find out the truth about why things are the way they are with your partner. And so this will be possibly a really good opportunity to heal that energy and to have maybe a more fair exchange in, with what you're doing. Now we have the Queen of Wands here. And so the Queen of Wands represents the energy of someone who is really, like she's considered to be sexy and a natural beauty. Her wand, of course, is the made of wood, which feeds fire, and it is representing from the tree, the deep roots of our ancestors as well as the descendants. And she has this veil behind her head, and that is the veil between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. And so she uses her intuition as well as her logic to come to strong decision-making skills. And so she has that sunflower in her hand there, and that represents her ability to remain happy. She does what makes her happy, basically. She has, like, for instance, she has this little black cat, and a lot of people won't have a black cat because they feel they're bad luck, but she doesn't believe in that. And so she just enjoys her black cat and figures, like, whatever. She's not going to worry about it. And so this is in your higher learning. How you bring the information in, and it's talking about, that using your intuition and your logic together is the best combination. And look at this, we have an Ace of Pentacles coming in as well. So you have two aces here, gifts from the universe, from God himself. And this is talking about, again, staying on your destined path through hardship. And so this is talking about a lot of money coming in, and you already have a lot of money, so this is a lot more to match this. Like this is, you have 10 of Pentacles then with this reward, and this is talking about, millions kind of energy. And then that's the energy I'm picking up for this case anyway. And then we have the Fool. Well, of course, this is going to start you on a new journey here. And so the Fool represents that, okay, so when this energy shifts, basically this is talking about you really standing up for yourself here. And then because you do that, and you insist on other people picking up their own burdens, you're not doing it for them anymore. You're determined. Maybe someone has proposed to you, and you've been divorced or something for quite some time, so you haven't been in a relationship for a while, that could be. And the truth is coming out about something, and when that truth comes out, it's because and there's a lot of cards here about hidden secrets or some sort of illusion, and you finally get to the bottom of it, and that brings in this reward of a better lifestyle. Yeah, and look at this, we have, okay, first of all, let's put this guy here. So this is starting a new journey once this reward comes in. And what is it about? It's about the shift disturber. So this is talking about a walking contradiction. I feel this represents your partner because it's right in that role. And maybe you had to make the choice to get divorced or to at least separate from them for now. And maybe you're doing your best to work things out. But this is saying here, like this is, the two swords are planted here. And that could represent your relationship. The reason I call this the shift disturber is because we don't really know what he's doing, but he's a walking contradiction. He is looking over his shoulder, and he's sneaking around like in broad daylight. And so if he's a thief and he's stealing these swords, why? And in broad daylight, like on tiptoes, like what good is that going to do? Everybody can see him. Quite often this can represent a white-collar crime. Like it's not a thief in the night that would come in and burglarize your house at midnight sort of energy when nobody's home, with the flashlight. but this is more someone in broad daylight. They're if they're a thief, they're like doing probably more like white collar crimes, and it could even be at work kind of energy. So he has 5 swords in his hands here, and it's kind of like, look how he's carrying those swords. Like, that is so dangerous, because he's not even looking where he's going. He's looking back and moving forward, and he's not looking where he's going. If he trips, he could lose his hands here. These are very sharp. I've never seen anyone carry swords like that. Like, it doesn't make sense. So if he's that dangerous with his own safety, then how is he going to be with others? And that may mean why you're exhausted from carrying the burden, because he's just one of those people that you never know what he's going to do next. And perhaps you've been like concerned that it feels like there's something shifty going on, but you don't know what it is. And now you have found out, and perhaps that has pushed you into a situation where you want to end this relationship. You know what you know now, and now you have conviction beyond a doubt that that is the direction you want to head in. And this can also have like spiritual aspect to it a little bit, like doing what's best for you all around, like for you, your soul, like on your, on every level of your being. That perhaps you're tired of being with someone that you never know what they're going to do next, basically, and you just can't trust that if they say they're going to show up at 3 o'clock, they show up at 4:30, and then they're pissed off when you're upset because they're an hour and a half late. It's that kind of energy. And so we're going to see, it looks like you're getting the truth though, and that's going to, the truth will set you free, even though sometimes it may not be that much fun to find out the truth. We'll look into this some more, Cancer, but it looks like you have a pretty good grip on it. If you feel like, oh, this is enough information for me now and I'm going to get off the reading here, thank you for your time and energy, and please do give it a like and comment. Oh, these are the cards that want to come out, and they're jumping out of the... All right. I'm going to clarify. I was going to say, consider subscribing if you resonate. I'd be honored if you did so. And yeah, I'm going to clarify now with my Oracle Tales from the Vector, and this is TAILS. And I started this in 2007, and in 2020 I completed all 64 paintings. I'm an artist. Had a lot of fun doing it. There's some really big paintings. There's about 30 large dragons coming from the future, from around the world and the universe. And there's dragonflies, and there's angels and crystals. There's all sorts of energy in the paintings. I have, as I said, I completed the 64th painting in 2020, and now I'm just working on, I have a lot of written information, but I want to play with the cards, because it's way different when you play with them and actually use them in readings. And I have used them in that way before, but I didn't have the whole deck done, and it's very different now with the whole deck. So yeah, let's use this. Let's see if we can clarify with these cards. In the description box below, I'm going to put the numbers as they appear, and the numbers on these cards actually represent the order that they are listed in the gallery on my website, talesfromthevector.com. Okay, come Stella. My cat just realized she was sound asleep in the other room, and she loves to be here for the readings, and she just realized, Colette, you did a reading without me? It's okay, you can get busy working. Her job is to purr and raise the vibration to a high level, so go ahead and start purring and be a good girl. Thank you. All right, so this is talking about, on some level, the tactic of denial. So you may have been feeling like, whoops, I'm sorry, I knocked the camera, that was me. Okay, you're supposed to be actually purring, not meowing, okay? All right, I know you just woke up, silly girl. It's okay. You're late for work, but you're here halfway through, so you're doing 2/3 of the way through. You're doing good. So the denial is a tactic, and it's a tactic that we can use on others and also on ourselves. What I don't know won't hurt me. Actually, yes, what you don't know can hurt you, and I feel like your intuition has been saying, look, there's something going on here that you need to pay attention to. and you know, you've been kind of, yeah, you kind of know that, but you don't really want to believe it, so you know, don't necessarily act upon it right away. And so there's been, you might have, like, be feeling kind of like your energy is depleted is kind of the energy I'm getting. Kind of like someone sort of gaslighting you, you know. Oh, why are you saying that, or why are you thinking that? But your intuition is telling you, hey, there's something going on here. And so does the shame belong to you? Like, if there's been whatever is going on, you don't want to have to take responsibility for other people's actions when they're grown adults. That, you know, for sure. And also, you know, if it's keeping you in this energy and you suspect there's something fishy going on, then look into it. We have judgment coming down, and that judgment, oh my goodness, Stella, be a good girl. Be a good girl. All right, I'm sorry. All right, so the judgment is coming in from God, and this is also going to come down to the third dimensional world. And so this is saying that maybe you did find out some information, and now you know, it's you have no doubt now that you know what you know what decision you're going to make, and perhaps you're considering leaving the relationship, or, you know, insisting that something changes here. And, you know, what better time than at this full moon right now, because it's supporting that energy in a really strong way, so much so that that's what every reading so far has been. For the last week, basically moving into this energy. I did do a reading for each of the signs on the full moon energy, and that's on my full moon, new moon playlist. So if you want to take a look at that, it might give you further clarity as to your situation. So this is unfettering your heart. So this is talking about judgment coming in, and then you can be free to follow your authentic desires. This is also about having the strength. That if your intuition is telling you something, that you look at your shadow side and you look like, why am I pretending that something isn't going on when everything inside of me is yelling at me, hey, something's going on. And it feels like you're afraid on some level of failing in love. Like you don't want your marriage to end, or this commitment to end. And so it doesn't have to, but you could... you know, this can also be like, sometimes, you know, you know, as I said, this is the beginning of fulfillment. And so as time goes by, sometimes we don't notice our partners the same way that we used to, and we don't give the relationship the same kind of energy. And this could be a warning, like, hey, you want to pay attention to your partner, and your partner should be paying attention to you. And so it's time to maybe put some energy back in, you know, go on a vacation somewhere together, that kind of energy. Do something to bring you closer to each other. Now would be the opportunity of a lifetime to do that. And it's very supportive, the energy for that right now. So falling and failing in love is a matter of I. And this is talking about also, both these cards are unfettered, because this is your heart chakra. And this is the cosmic heart. So this is God's judgment coming down and telling you, you need to look into this. And now that you know what you know, you have conviction beyond a doubt, whatever that is. And then this is also talking about your heart chakra, and opening that up to maybe getting to put more energy into that relationship with your significant other, so that you can figure something out between you. We have the Wheel of Fortune is turning, and it's that means that this is right on the Chariot, so it's confirming, okay, the past, the present, and the future are coming into synchronicity now, and this is an opportune time. Get on that destined path and really move forward. Someone's really revving their wheels out there. Just as I said that, I was just about to say that I don't know if you could hear that, because I do have a noise canceling mic, but someone's just spinning their wheels out there. You can still hear them. And so this is, the Chariot is talking about this energy is coming in really, really fast. You don't want to be spinning your wheels, though. Just get on and let it take you where you need to go. Once you make that commitment to be on your destined path at that level, it's just saying we're on our way. And then we have the Hermit energy. So you may have taken a little bit of time for yourself and then came out of that. And this is the energy that you're in. Because you don't want to stay, you'd rather be better than bitter. Like, you don't want to stay in this cold energy. Like, if your partner did something and maybe you've decided, okay, we're not going to be able to stay together, but you don't want to give up on love totally, and you don't want to be like all cold, you're going to suffer from that kind of energy. But sometimes it's good to isolate yourself. So sometimes when the Hermit card comes up like this, the Hermit, after a dark night of the soul, which is when you find out something that really was hard to accept, that and you start to look at your shadow side, and okay, I'm going to go and isolate. And so the Hermit climbs a mountain so that nobody bothers them, and when they reach the peak, then they sit and they commune with God, and they have their lantern with them. And when the lantern is full of the light of the North Star, which is representing your destined path, then it means, okay, now you have the information you need to be able to take action in a strong way. And there's a scotoma here. So this can be talking about the energy of having a blind spot. And it could be regarding what's going on. Again, this is the energy that's come up, something to do with your significant other here. And also, like a scotoma is basically when you can see something but other people can see. So maybe you can see all the good qualities of this person, and other people are saying to you, like, why is he behaving so strangely? Like that kind of energy. And sometimes other people can see what you can't see. So it's kind of listening to both sides of the equation and trusting your intuition in that. And that's what comes up here, is the guiding star on your any external forces coming at you. Now, you can't control what someone else does or says, but you can control whether you react to it or do you respond to it in a strong way. And that can be the difference between, being able to be in this position where you're going to you're going to lay down certain expectations, and you want that improvement in your life, and you're insisting upon it now. So this is talking about then, and this is interesting because this is the Mother's Worry card coming up. You might have children, and so it might be something like with that you're carrying a lot of the burden for looking after the children in your family, and he's not pulling his weight that way. Sometimes also it can be like an energy where maybe your parents, it looked like when we started this though, it looked like you had a strong relationship with your parents, and they had a strong relationship with each other. Maybe you're feeling like that's what you always expected your relationship to be like, and now it's not, and it's that kind of energy. So this can also, the truth is coming out, and the truth will set you free, basically. So this is coming in the transition. So when you find out there's been something going, if your intuition is saying, there's something going on, I feel like there really is, because the cards are saying that you're not being ridiculous, or you're not being, paranoid. There is something that you don't know, but we don't know what that is. And so it could be something serious, or it could just be something that is really, when you find out what it is, you're not that concerned about it. But there's this deception card is coming up. And this is, kiss me good. So like this is talking about like deception within your relationship. And we have this other queen in here. And that's what kind of I was wondering, who is this queen here that's so passionate, and perhaps, and this is like the actions of others that they're passionate about, and it's in your partner's spot. So there could be that kind of energy where, because I feel like your energy is more this energy here, because of the and maybe you've just been really, really busy at work, and are more career orientated, and you just haven't been paying attention. Like, that happens in our relationships sometimes. We have the Taurus energy coming in, and Taurus is about learning how to give and take. So this situation could turn out to be a situation where you realize, hey, I need to spend more time or invest more time in my relationship and not just in my career kind of energy, because this is in your career and your reputation and that kind of energy. And so then if you change that, it could be a huge blessing, and you may, just by making that small adjustment, like maybe just making a date night once a week or something, or making a rule that, you, instead of sitting and watching TV while you eat dinner after you get home from work, that you prepare it together, and you converse with each other instead of like just being in the same room but not really interacting with each other, that kind of energy. Just when the horoscope signs come in my readings, and it's a general reading like this, I just want to make you aware that I'm not talking about a Taurus as an individual. I'm talking about the qualities of that sign. And so the Taurus is the second zodiac sign in the horoscope. And so, the first one is Aries, and that's a newborn infant. And then we have Taurus, the toddler. And this is like all about pentacle energy, so it's not unusual for that to be there. Taurus energy, the energy is of someone who really wants to have that safety, that feeling of safety, that there's enough pentacles, and that like their home life is going to be stable and the bills are going to be paid. That's when Taurus does their best, energy. And your partner might be in that position, but you're the one, it feels like to me, you're the one who is pulling most of the weight when it comes to the finances. And perhaps there's something around that you need to look into. So then there's the Temperance energy. And this is talking about having the patience to stay on your path no matter what's happening, basically. But it looks like when this truth comes in, whatever you find out, you're going to be better off, because it's saying right here, it's a blessing, and it's something you've been patiently waiting to understand. And so whatever it is, you would rather know it than not know it. That's the energy coming in. And then we have the Empress. Okay, so that elevates you. See, here you're a pre-Empress energy, and here you're an Empress energy. So when you're not worrying anymore about it, and you're like, okay, if I'm an Empress, I'm going to be treated like an Empress. Basically, that's what it's saying. So, you may have, once you find out what's been going on, and if there has been deception with someone else, in that way in your relationship, then perhaps that's when you do leave and you become separated or divorced, and then you move on to live in a more truthful life, and that allows you to let love in again, rather than becoming so bitter with the situation that you can't get better. You know what I mean? So it's not the most cheerful of readings, but it's really good. And if you're ready for the truth and you're ready to work this out, now is the astrological influence are really truly reflecting this. I want to remind you that the full moon energy, this is on April 1st, so it's April Fool's Day. So we don't have enough AI misinformation out there these days. So this is just an added element. So keep that in mind, because emotions run really high at the full moon. And we have that trickster energy until noon, I think, is when, people play jokes on each other, and it's April Fool's Day. Keep that in mind. So you don't fly off the handle and then it was just a joke and you took it too seriously, basically. All right, please do give this a like and comment if you found it beneficial. I wish you all the best with this, and consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy of the channel. It would be my honor if you did so. I'll be back with another reading for you Astrologically, I do the daily readings every day, and every once in a while I have some random shift coming up here and there. All right, bye for now.